In fighting games, what is the archetype that would likely lead to people rage quitting? We're talking about the style that doesn't want to box with you, doesn't want to grapple or stay in close. They will make you miserable from across the screen. That's right, it's the zoner type or the long range type. And if you compare to real life fighting, this would be equivalent to the outboxer. Somebody who has a long reach, keep you at bay. My last video, I covered the Shoto type, or the well-rounded, honest type. And I compared Ryu and Ken to fighters like Georges St-Pierre and Demetrius Johnson. The main difference, as I mentioned, zoner types like to keep their distance. They'll often use strikes from far or use their reach. Someone like Guile from Street Fighter, who can pretty much spam a bunch of sonic booms from across the screen. And then you have guys like Sagat, who even though has Shoto-style moves, like a Shoryuken, in his case the Tiger Uppercut, he has a long reach and he can keep his opponents at bay with even his strikes. Their goal is to not let you get close.
No, well, no. Please stop. I can't let you get close. Can you hear me?
And that's the style of fighting I'm going to cover today and how we can apply it to our real life training. Whether you're in boxing, kickboxing, or MMA, we can apply the zoner type tactics to your game even. So this is Art of Warcat, where we like to study and break down and analyze certain tactics that we can borrow from even fiction and apply it to real world training. So let's get started with understanding the zoner type and some drills we can do to practice and fight like one. So the main goal to learn how to fight like a zoner fighter is to annoy your opponent. Joking aside, what can we actually learn from fighters like Guile from Street Fighter? His main move, his most popular move, is the sonic boom. And the difference between his projectile and something like a fireball, like a Hadouken, he throws them rather quickly and almost easily from moving back, because you actually have to charge that move to throw it. Now, what's that equivalent to in real world combat? It reminds me a lot of a check hook. And what is a check hook? A check hook is a type of hook that you throw while moving backwards or evading backwards. So you're throwing a counter hook to an incoming opponent. So somebody's coming forward at you, you want to land that hook as you're moving back. The goal is to land a check hook so your opponent can't land their punch. So if I'm moving back, my best tactic to land a check hook is I will take maybe one step back and see if my opponent likes to pressure forward. I would bait them here, one step back, second step back, and I notice that they're still moving forward. On the third one, I make it look like I'm stepping back, but I actually just move my back foot while my lead foot stays in place. So by moving my back foot and I see that they're coming in forward, I will throw my hook as they enter forward. So on a target, it would look like this. So imagine the bag's coming toward me, boom, I land it while stepping back, but only using my rear foot. My lead foot stays in place. That keeps me in range with my opponent, but the illusion is I'm moving back away from them. But as I'm moving back, I land my punch. So you can practice that. Practice just the back step. Back step, and then back step, land your check hook. So the check hook, quite similar to a sonic boom. You're using an attack as you're moving backwards. Now the check hook was a move that we use moving backwards. We actually want also an offensive tool or an offensive tactic that will push our opponents back themselves. So the best tools we have in our arsenal are basically our jab and a push kick. Now if you're just boxing, all you can really use is our jab. Unless you want to get disqualified, then you can throw those kicks all you want. But in boxing, when it comes to your jab, you want to be able to land a stiff jab. You want to use your jab to keep your opponent at a distance, and you can land with full connection. So you want to extend your jab. And the most important thing that I suggest you practice with your jab is try to be as least telegraphic as possible when you're using them. And what I mean by being non-telegraphic is you don't want to give it away. So try to lead with your fist. That way it looks like anything can be thrown from there. And then allow your body to follow through. You want full extension with your arm. You want full rotation with your shoulder and you want your body and hips to follow through. So you want to punch through your target and land it there. That's your best tool to keep your opponent at distance, at least when it comes to your hands. So when you're practicing your jab, boom, you just try to practice landing it from a distance that you don't have to step in. Because here, if I can land it from here without giving it away, then I know I'm in a good spot to keep spamming those jabs, just like you would spam any of your long distance moves in a real fighting game. Then when you get used to that, you can play with distance. You can learn to throw your jab with a step in, either a full step or a half step. The difference between a full step and a half step is if I'm using a full step, I'm moving forward completely to land my jab. So I know I have a good distance and I'll use that footwork to get in close. Nice, quick, full step. But the half step, you're only moving your lead foot. So your lead foot gets you in, but that at times is more than enough to get in closer to land that jab. And it's a lot more subtle. So I'm a big advocate of using the half step when I use a step in jab. So I'll half step and land that jab. So when you're back on the bag and you're working your bag, play with the distance. From here, I would use my full step because I can't land my jab from here. Boom, but there I can. I use a full step to get in. But from here, I can use my half step. I can't land my jab from here, but my half step, where I just moved my lead foot, allows me to. So that's one of your best tools to use to keep your opponent at bay or push them backwards. Then if your craft allows you to, such as MMA and kickboxing and Muay Thai, your lead leg push kick is your best long-range tool. Fighters like Dhalsim can extend their arms. They can be stretchy. We can't, unfortunately, but we can use our limbs and extend them as much as possible using the same concept. So with the lead push kick, what I recommend you do is lead with your knee. Imagine you're throwing your knee up. That way they won't know what you're throwing because it could just be a knee. I could kick low, or I could kick mid, or I could kick high. You choose, but from the knee, you can trick them or feint them into what you want to do. So from here, once you get that knee up, you follow through with that kick and you plant right back. From a technical aspect, I'm a big fan of bringing your strike back the way you threw it. So if I lifted my knee first, when I push kick, I want to bring it back the same way. The reason I like to do it that way is I like to be prepared to check if I need to. I'm in a good position to be defensive as well, like a true zoner. So boom, boom. You practice that. And when you kick, you push through the bag. Imagine you're pushing a door down. Boom, right here. You could use your rear leg too. It's a good long range strike. The only thing is it comes from the rear, so it's a little more telegraphic, or there's a risk of your opponent seeing it more than your lead one. Your lead strikes, your lead tools are your closest tools to your target. So you might as well use those to keep your opponent at bay. And those long range tools, very similar to the zoner types, such as Dhalsim, who uses reach, or Sagat, one of my favorite Street Fighter characters, who have a lot in common, such as the same barber and about the same stature. And finally, you want to have strikes that would counter when your opponent does manage to get in. If you're a zoner type, your opponent is going to want to close that gap. I mentioned in the Shoto series that they have the Shoryuken that allows to be an anti-air move or a mid strike that breaks or disrupts something that's coming forward or from above. Just like the Shoryuken, Sagat's Tiger Uppercut, very similar. Then you have Guile, who uses his flash kick. You can use these moves too. No, you can't. You can't do a flash kick. Don't try it. Or maybe you can, but it's not realistic. Don't try it. But what we can realistically do are two tools that we can use. One, if you're just boxing, you have your own simple uppercut. A regular uppercut is great because usually the best uppercuts are landed from a counter, especially when somebody's coming forward. You want to dip their head forward. That's the best opportunity to land an uppercut. So you just throw your uppercut as your opponent moves forward. So as your opponent gets low and they're trying to pressure forward, that's your timing to land that uppercut. All it takes is just one little adjustment, and you throw it just like you would throw any other punch. You're just changing the course. Instead of a straight or a hook, all you're doing is twisting and popping it from there. Allow them to walk right into your uppercut. You can apply that same concept of the check hook that I mentioned, where you take a half step back as they're coming forward, half step back, and land that uppercut. It's a great counter to use. So you might not be able to do a tiger uppercut, but a regular uppercut is truly effective. And again, if you're in kickboxing or MMA or Muay Thai, one of your best tools to use as a disruptor when they're trying to come forward at you is your knee. A knee straight up the middle is a great way of dismantling somebody who's pressuring forward. If you keep your hands up, their attention will be at your hands. And if you use your hands accordingly, where you can post against your opponent, and then you can land that knee from under. And if they move forward or dip forward, even better, that knee lands right into their head. The rear knee is a great mid-range tool you can use to disrupt somebody moving forward. It's the same concept and same principle that you're borrowing from a flash kick or a tiger uppercut. So what did we learn from this video? We learned how to annoy our training partners by borrowing concepts of the zoner archetype. In all seriousness, I hope you saw that even though we can't throw sonic booms or stretch our limbs 10 feet, we can still borrow the ideas and concepts and tactics behind why we use those moves and apply realistic moves in real-world combat, at least when it comes to combat sports. If I may ask, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell if you'd like this type of content. It's free, and I can continue producing more content just like this. This is Art of Warcat, where we try to bring fiction to reality. And stay tuned for my next video where I will cover the grappler type, a little different flavor than what you're probably used to on my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.